If you've only just started video editing and you're not editing inside DaVinci Resolve, in today's video I'm going to help you fast track all of that learning by showing you exactly what you need to know to get started editing inside DaVinci Resolve. We're going to go from setting up your project, editing down your footage and making sure everything is set up correctly for future projects, cutting your footage, and then exporting your video so that you're all set to get all of that stuff ready and rearing to go. So without further ado, let's jump right in and subscribe. So first things first is we're going to open up DaVinci Resolve and you'll be greeted with this project manager panel or window. And so if you don't know what this is where all of your projects will be stored within DaVinci Resolve so that you can easily access them for creating projects, editing projects and all that sort of thing. So every time you open DaVinci, this is what you're greeted with, and this is where when you start getting, lots of clients and all that sort of thing, this is where you're going to have everything organized. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to come down here and go new project. Going to open that, and this is where you're going to name your project. So I'm just going to call it test example project. So a good general rule of thumb with treating your projects, it's like a main directory folder for something. So like if I were to go out and shoot a wedding, everything to be edited for that wedding stays under this one project. Now if you're doing real estate edits, you'll treat each individual property as a project. So you might be doing 3 houses that you need to create videos for. Each of those houses will have their own individual project. But if you're doing something like a YouTube channel, you won't create an individual project for each YouTube video. You'll just keep it under one DaVinci Resolve project and all of your videos are under that, because later I'll get onto explaining how timelines work. Very cool, it's very cool stuff. So you've got your projects named, and then we're going to go and change the media location, or I'd say the project media location, because this is where things will get stored. And you're going to go and select the folder which all of your footage is under, or your main project folder inside File Explorer. So that might sound complicated. I'll give a quick example. If you shot a YouTube video, no, actually not a YouTube video, if you shot a wedding, then whatever folder you've got all of the wedding stuff under, this is where you're going to set that location. So for me, I'm just going to go test project, already done, boom, create. So now we've got the project created. And straight away when DaVinci Resolve opens, we're greeted with the cut page. So if you don't know, there's different areas inside of DaVinci Resolve meant for specific tasks. And honestly, half of the time you're barely going to use any of these, because you'll mostly be using the edit page. But you've got the media page, where if you were doing massive big stuff, you can organize your media inside of the media page. You've got the cut page, where you can basically simply cut down all of your footage, but we're not going to worry too much about that because you can do that super fast in the edit page anyway. The edit page is where we're going to be using most of the time for all of our edits, because it's like the main, it's where you can really build out your edit. The Fusion page is like for all sorts of like VFX. It's basically Adobe After Effects, but DaVinci's version, and it's all node based. I'm not that wizard, I'm not that much of a wizard with it, but we can delve a little deeper into that later if we wanted to. Then you've got the color page. This is for all your color grading and all that sort of stuff. The Fairlight, which is where you can do lots of like audio and music effects. You don't use the Fairlight page that much because you can do audio adjustments inside the edit page, but if you wanted to do a bunch of like reverbs and all that sort of stuff, you'd go inside the music page, and you can also get a really good mix as well. And then the last page section, I'm probably calling these wrong, I can't even remember what they're properly called, but you've got the deliver tab. These are tabs. And then you've got the deliver tab, and this is exporting. Just think of it like where you go to export all of your videos and stuff. So straight away we're going to go and we'll jump into the edit tab. And I'm going to change this, boom, off. So when you open it first up, this is what you're going to be greeted with. You've got your media pool. This is where your clips, your videos, your media, they all go in here, and I'll show you how to do that soon. A very cool tip coming up for that, by the way. You've got your effects panel, so this is where you can select you know, your transitions, your titles, you know, all that sort of stuff. Basically everything you'd need to craft together a compelling video with text, animations if you wanted to, all that sort of thing. But we won't dive too much into that, because just to edit a video, you know, you don't need all of these all at once, especially if you're a beginner. You've got your main timeline here, so this is where all of your clips are going to go. We'll get to that in a second as well. And then your inspector tab, one of the most overlooked kind of areas in DaVinci Resolve. This is where you get full kind of editing capabilities on every single clip. So what I mean by that is, if you had a clip and it was quite a wide clip and you wanted to zoom in on the face, you'd basically come into the inspector tab, select video, and you can zoom the clip in and keyframe it, or do whatever you want, and I'll show you that as well. But for now, we're in DaVinci Resolve, and the first thing we need to do is we need to set up our project settings. This is important because DaVinci Resolve automatically sets it to whatever it's automatically set to. But because we're all in different countries, we've all got different video standards. So we're going to come down here to the settings cog icon thingy, and just under master settings, so it might, I don't know, if you're not in there yet, you'll just go to master settings. And the first thing that we need to do is we need to set our timeline resolution. This is wildly dependent on the footage you're bringing in. If you shot it all in 4K, you're going to come down and you're going to select 3840 by 2160 Ultra HD. Woo! If you shot it in just normal 1080, then you'll select 1920 by 1080. It's already set to that. If you shot it in 6K or 8K, you'll select that, but you can actually just, you know, so it all depends what you're doing. If you need to select your custom aspect ratio, then you can go do that and you can input exactly what you want there. But just for this, we just need 1920 by 1080. That's all we need. And then frame rate, this is the main thing, is if you're in the US, then you'll be probably setting it to 24. Where I'm from, we do 25. That's the kind of standard video, so that's all good. And proxy media, set that to quarter, depending on what machine you're on. If you're on Mac, any of these ProReses are fine. If you're on Windows, DNxHRLB, which stands for low broadcast, that's what you want to select. Boom, all those ticks, cool. And project media location, we've already done that. Proxy generation location, we're just going to set this to the same folder our main footage is stored at. And cache, that should already, we don't really need to touch cache, but that should be all set, and we'll just go save. So now your project is all ready and set up to bring in footage. So to do with the footage, hopefully you've got everything organized inside your main project folder in File Explorer or Finder or whatever you're using. And if you haven't, I've got a video there, and that will help you sort out all of your files and folders and project structures and all that sort of stuff, so that it literally takes you a second to import it all in DaVinci Resolve as it's organized. So cool, make sure to check that out. We still need to bring footage in. Bring in, where are we? Example project. So this is my project here. It's already got its kind of structure going on and the footage is under here. But what I'm going to do, and watch this carefully, this is quite handy, is I'm going to click and hold. So I'm going to click and drag this main directory project folder. I'm going to bring it over, and drop it right here on master. So I'm not selecting just my footage and bringing it here, and I'm not going to drop my folder here because then it's not going to do what we want it to do. We're going to come over to this panel, go to master, and we drop. Now what this does, oh yeah, and by the way, we don't want it to change the project frame rate because the footage I'm bringing in is 50 frames and DaVinci is going, I see your clips are 50 frames, do you want your timeline project settings to be 50 frames as well? No, we don't, because then we can't slow it down. So we're going to go don't change. That's important. And as you can see, under master, automatically it's gone and created the main project folder and all of our folders, got the footage in here, all these other things, and kind of to show that it creates all the folders automatically based on your structure. There's these, but I don't need these, so I'm going to delete it. But everything is there automatically sorted, so you don't need to go creating all these bins and dragging in footage and, you know, willy-nilly having all these things everywhere. It's already in there, so keep your projects nice and clean because it becomes a pain in the bum when you're trying to do big projects. So we've got all that sorted now, and all our footage is in here, right here. And you'll be going, okay, so I've got everything in there now, what's next? So a good rule of thumb is to make sure that your DaVinci Resolve project is going to run smoothly. What do I mean by that? Lagging, playback issues, they're not fun. So in order to kind of work around this, you can do a few things within the playback settings up here. So you'll just come here, you'll come here and first you'll go to render cache and you're going to set this to smart. This just means that DaVinci Resolve will automatically do all the pre-rendering for your videos so that it plays smoothly when you're trying to edit. It's really cool. And the next thing is we're going to come up to proxy handling and we're going to go prefer proxies. So at this stage you'll be going, oh, but I don't know what proxies are and I don't think I have any. That's all good, because what we're going to do here is we've got all our footage. We're going to select it all, or you can just go Control A. We're going to right click. We're going to come down to proxy media, generate proxy media. So now as you can see we've got these this PXY sort of pink icon on each of the clips, and that means you've got proxy media all rendered and enabled and all that sort of thing. And as you can see, that's very, very lickety split fast. So that's exactly what we want, and especially when you've got massive projects with lots and lots and lots of footage, this helps so much. And if you're still not quite getting really buttery smooth, you can come up to playback and you can go timeline playback resolution, and that's just for your individual playback screen, and you can set this to half or quarter, and it basically makes it easier for DaVinci Resolve to play it back for you to watch for when you're editing. But I don't need to do that because it's already pretty buttery smooth. So now we've got all of our footage all sorted there. We're going to come back to our main project folder. We're going to create a new timeline. So in order to do that, you can go right click, timeline, create new timeline, or on your keyboard you can go Control N and it will bring this little window up. This is where you can name your project. So I'll just go test project timeline, and we're going to hit, so we can keep this checked because we've already got our project settings set up as we need them, and we'll go hit create. And now you'll see this pop up, and this is your first timeline, and this is where we're going to drop all our footage to edit. So we're going to come under our footage bin because this is where everything is stored. Going to select all our footage and we're going to drag it into our timeline, and you can use this little slider here so you can zoom in and see it. and I'll get onto keyboard shortcuts in a second for this. And I've dropped it in, and you might notice you're getting this little bar, blue and red bar here. This is the rendering I was talking about with the smart what's it called? Yeah, just the render cache. And if it's red, it means it hasn't been rendered yet. If it's blue, it's already processed, and it should be pretty fast. But just for your info, that's what all that is. Now you'll be looking at this and you'll be going, okay, so I've got all my footage in there. Now what do I do? Okay, well, first things first. There are a couple ways that you can cut this down. One of them is silly, and the other way is smart. So naturally built into DaVinci Resolve, you've got this tool called the blade tool. Basically what this is how you'd cut your footage. So you might be like, boom, 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 okay, I want it to stop there. And I've got the blade tool, and I'll go boom, cut, and now I've just made a cut. And then I'll go and delete this. And now onto the next clip, cut. But the issue with this, as you can see, is it's really, really slow. You have to go with the mouse, drag it out, boom, 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 cut, delete, blah, blah, blah. That is not very efficient editing, and that's not how you should be editing your footage, because we're going to be using keyboard shortcuts. Easy, fast, streamlined. It just makes your life so much simpler. So I'm going to go back to my mouse tool. That's basically what I use all the time. So what we're going to do is we're going to come up here to DaVinci Resolve. We're going to go to keyboard customization. This is where we're going to set everything up. And we're opened with this. It might look a little bit daunting, but it's pretty cool stuff. So the first thing we're going to do is we see our main keyboard layout here is going to allow us to set the key which we want to set something for, or we can just preview what's going on. So for instance, spacebar, automatically we don't need to do anything with this, but spacebar's already set to pause and start playback. So that means that when I hit spacebar, play, pause, play, pause, right? Cool, nice and handy. So that's a keyboard shortcut that you can memorize. But what we want to specifically look for is setting keyboard shortcuts that allow us to cut down our footage nice and fast. So I've got a few ways which I like to use in order to cut down my footage. My first one is called the ripple start to playhead and ripple end to playhead, and I've got these set to the left and right bracket. Basically what this does is it so if I've got my playhead here, if I hit my left bracket, which is ripple left of playhead, it's going to take this area of the clip and it's going to basically cut, delete and move everything left. So I'll quickly show you. So everything on this side of the playhead is going to be deleted like that. So I'll do that again. Boom, you'll see that. And if I use my other one, just this clip only as well, by the way, when I hit the ripple right of the playhead, which is I've got set to my right bracket, it's going to delete just this little section here, just like that. I'll do that again. Boom. And it's basically, as I like, if I'm here I can go boom, 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 boom. Go here, do, this one, dum, 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 dum. Just like that. Nice and fast. Right, so I've got all that cut down and I could do it even more. Boom, boom, Just like that. That's how it works. So we'll quickly set that up for you because it's very useful. And so all you're going to need to do, so what you're looking for is you need to type start to playhead in over here. So we're going to come to the search, we're going to type in start to play. So it'll just have a look over here, Ripple, this is the one we're looking for. And in order to create it as a keyboard shortcut, you'll hover and you'll see this plus icon. And we're just going to hit that, and then you can put it to whatever you want. So I'll just select 0, and you see it's in there. But I don't actually want that, so I'm going to delete that. But you'll just put it into whatever you want. I suggest using the left bracket and the right bracket because it kind of looks like it's a chop and left or a chop and right or whatever. It kind of just made sense in my brain, but you can do whatever you want. It's your keyboard shortcuts at the end of the day, and that's how you set that. And we'll also do the next one. So this one is end to playhead, so you'll just type in end to playhead, and it will probably be like that. So you'll come to Ripple, and there it is, and then you'll just go the plus icon and you'll press whatever key you want it to be set to. Oh, can't use that one, but you know, you get the idea. And then you'll hit save. And while we're on here, the one other thing which you can use for cutting your footage is splitting your clip. So it doesn't do any rippling left or rippling right, it just simply splits your clip when you press the key to split the clip. And this is called split clip. Pretty clever. And I've got mine set to N, so whenever I press N it will split the clip. I'll quickly show you what that does. So discard. So whenever I press N, it will just split the clip, split the clip, split the clip, split, 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 split. So it's like, that's what it does, and we're going to quickly configure that. Keyboard customization. So I've got mine set to N. You can set it to whatever you want, but we'll type in split clip, split clips, and you'll, same as before, you'll click the plus icon and you'll set it to whatever you want, and then you'll come and hit save. Obviously I haven't done anything, so it's not going to allow me to save, but you'll select your thing and then you can hit save. And if you're interested in all sorts of keyboard shortcuts which you can use, let me know in the comments below, and I'll make a fully in-depth detailed video about setting everything up, especially for speed, because these things are awesome. But it's just a little bit out of the scope of this video because we just want to get you editing. Right, so we've got ripple left, ripple right, and we've got split clips, and we know how to use the spacebar to play our videos. So now we're going to edit down our footage. So I'm gonna start from scratch. I'm going to delete this and I'm going to bring everything in again. So make sure you remember to use your delete key or your backspace key, because you're going to need it to delete things like that and then things like this, so that everything kind of stays in line on the timeline. So when you're on the timeline in DaVinci Resolve, you've actually got a bunch of different things called video tracks. And this is, think of it like layers. So for instance, at the moment I've only got one video track and one audio track. But when you get into really kind of complex edits, you're going to have like your music on one track, a bunch of sound effects on the other. It basically allows you to layer all these different things and get quite a strong edit. And at the moment I've only got one video track, and all you need to do to get a new one is I want to have a few different video tracks, so I'm going to go select my clip, just drag it up. Now I've got a new video track, so you can have could be something like this. This doesn't do anything with that video specifically, but it's just how you layer it, because you might have, this one might have some talking audio, and you might do a bit of a J cut so that this one starts talking and then it will cut to it. And so you can do a bunch of really creative edits, but you almost likely just got very simple footage which you just want to cut down. And so in this case, we're just going to go through, and you're just to edit this, you're just going to look for the interesting part of the video. So that looks interesting, so that's where I want it to start. I'm going to delete all that, come through, finish there, next. So we want him when he's throwing that axe, so we're going to cut there, throw axe, and then as soon as it hits, we want it to go on to the next shot, so then we're going to delete this. And we'll find the interesting part. So yep, there's some movement, so we're going to cut there, boom, and then we're going to cut there, next clip, a little bit of movement in there, and we can see that he's running. That could be interesting, so we're going to cut there. Now normally on an edit you'll have music and stuff, and actually you'll be cutting in and off on the beat, and I probably should be doing that for a good example for you to follow along, but you'll get the idea. Like that, boom, cut, next. Oh, these little toggles also, by the way, they're the how zoomed in on the timeline for viewing when you're editing. So if you hit this middle one, that's basically going to zoom it into the optimal kind of zoom on the timeline for when you're editing. Detail zoom they call it, I don't even know that. The detail zoom. So basically things are, you know, pretty cool. This one's fit all the clips. Oh, no, sorry. This one is just zoom out, and this one's fit all the clips. And then you've got your detail zoom. And you can control all of that with this slider here. Or you can actually set a keyboard shortcut. I've set a keyboard shortcut to zoom me. So if I'm zoomed into my detail view, I can go Shift Z, and it will take me to fit all clips, and then I can go Shift Z again, and it will zoom me back in. Really quick and easy, it's really nice. Right, so on this clip here, we're going to do a fade out. A couple ways you can do this. First, you can either go into video transitions, cross dissolve, and you can drag it over to the end, and this little thing will pop up. So right now it won't do anything, but when that pops up, you can oh no, missed it. Try that again, boom. And now you've got your cross dissolve, and it will just fade it to black. And that's okay. Or you can select the end of this clip here. So do you see when it goes green? When it goes green, it means that that end of the clip is selected, and you can press T. T is already automatically set as a keyboard shortcut in DaVinci Resolve for add transition. So you're going to make sure it's selected, and you'll just press T, and it will add the cross dissolve, which we just dragged in. So half of the time it's better to be using your keyboard shortcut to get those, and this works for fading between clips as well. So if we want a fade transition here, we make sure that there's both of the ends are selected, and press T, and it will automatically chuck one in. Or alternatively, you can just come and drag, and it's there, and you can do a bunch of different transitions if you wanted to. Oh, that was interesting. That one might need to render. That wasn't even that smooth. Blur. See how the red pops up at, oh, and now it's rendered. So boom, bit of a blur. If you're doing like client work, you probably won't be using these sort of transitions because it's not that professional, but there's a whole bunch which you can go through. But back to the fading out. So you could do a cross dissolve, or alternatively, when you hover on a clip, you'll see these white tabs pop up on each end. This is basically a control which you can use. So you'll see that the mouse changes to these arrows. That means if you click and drag, you've got a fade in or a fade to black or a whatever you want to call it, but it controls the clip. You see how that works? So it's, if I wanted it longer, like that, or if I wanted it, oops, shorter, but you'd probably not do it at the start. So you could go like that and then fade it out, or we want it really long, really slow fade out, but we'll probably set it to about there, just like that. And now you've got your video edited, sort of. Hopefully you've got music added in there and all that sort of thing. If you want a more of like a deep dive into how to edit like an actual video, not just how to use DaVinci Resolve to edit your video, but more of a how you'd want to edit a video, like with music and all that sort of stuff, and transitions and effects and what to look for, let me know in the comments. Or alternatively, you can sign up for the email list down below in the description, so that I can send you a bunch of awesome free stuff so that you can get editing fast and quick. But for this example, I'm just kind of more showing you how to use DaVinci Resolve to edit your video, not so much the actual brainwavy sciencey stuff behind what you want to be doing to make a good video. So we've got all of that in there, and it's time to export. So now we're going to come down. Make sure you keep pressing Control S all the time. That's for Control Save. Control Save, what am I saying? It's for saving your project. So just whenever you remember, just hit Control Save, and it makes sure that if your computer just shut off randomly, or DaVinci Resolve closes or whatever, your project's saved and you can come back to where you started. So make sure you're always pressing Control S whenever you remember. So we're ready to jump into the deliver page to export the video. So we're going to come down to the little rocket, going to click it, and it's going to open up the deliver page. So it might look a little bit daunting at first. It's not that bad. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure we're on custom export, because all of our settings we want to set ourselves, because it's nice and easy. So we're going to hit custom export, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to name it. So I'll just go test export. This is where you'd like, this is the actual video name. Obviously you can rename it later in whatever file explorer you're in or whatever it is, but just make sure you get it right the first time. So yeah, test export. Yours might be James and Vanessa wedding 2026 or whatever it might be. Just make sure it's what the video needs to be named as. Then you'll select your location where you want it to export. If you've got an external hard drive, you could do it to that, or you could just go to your downloads folder and move it later. So we'll go like that. Done. We want it to be rendering single clip. If you select individual clips, it's going to render each of the clips on your timeline individually. There's actually a really handy use case for this, but it's not what we want, because we want an edited video, one clip edited with our stuff which we put in it. And if you select individual clips, it's not going to do that. So make sure you select single clip. That's quite important. You'll make sure you've got export video ticked, and we'll quickly go into the audio page and make sure that's ticked as well. Don't need to worry about all this. And now format. The main best format that you should be using is MP4, so we're going to come down and find MP4. This is good for YouTube, this is good for, you know, basically everything. It's always going to be set to MP4 pretty much. Codec, you don't want to muck this one up. If you're exporting in 4K to go to YouTube, then you'll select H.265. If you're just exporting generally, just normal video, whack it out in MP4, then you're going to select H.264. And for any random reason that you're doing something pretty high spec, like, I don't know, commercial or a big movie or whatever, and in that case that's pretty cool, but you'll be going for AV1. You'll probably be in like QuickTime or something, but we're MP4, and especially because I'm just doing HD, I select H.265 codec. So that's the codec. Encoder, this is basically just how your computer or how your software is going to be rendering this video. Auto just means it's automatically going to decide, or you can select your CPU, or like every machine is different, so it's going to have slightly different settings. So you might just have auto and native. If you select native, it's purely just going to use your CPU to export it, so that your CPU is going to bottleneck a bit. So just keep it on auto, it doesn't hurt. Timeline resolution should already be set as is because it's grayed out, so that's good. But if you really needed to, you can change it. But I suggest do not change it because we've already got those settings dialed in. All these are good. Quality, automatic, cool. Encoding profile, we don't really need to worry about these. Encoding, encoder usage, transcoding, cool. And all these are good. You may not see these settings here because you might be using the free version of DaVinci Resolve, and in that case you'll have slightly different settings. If you want it to focus on just exporting the video fast, you'll select performance. That will basically make it export just a little bit faster, but honestly it's not that much of a difference unless it's a really long video. Rate control, quality is fine, but if you needed to specifically control how big the file was, you'd go to constant bitrate, and then you get this thing here to set the bitrate which you want, and you can do 50 is good. Whoops, that's 5000. 50, 1, 2, 3, enter. And if you wanted like a really small file size, you'd do something like 10,000. Oops, that's 1,000. 10,000, or even 5,000. Probably wouldn't go lower than 5,000. You can actually use like ChatGPT or something to calculate this for you because that's really useful. But like if you were going to give a client a USB stick with their video on it, you don't want a massive 4K file, so you'll be able to come in here and you'll be able to control it. So for instance, when I'm doing a client job, I'll be exporting the main big video. Like if it was a funeral or something, I'd be exporting it all 4K and have this at about 80,000 kilobits a second, and that version goes up to YouTube, crispy, beautiful 4K. And then the version which I give them on a USB stick is just 1920 by 1080, set to H.264 because that's easier for most machines to render. It's easier for most machines to play back. And then I'll be setting the bitrate to something like 10,000 or 5,000, and that just means that the file size on this USB stick's not going to be absolutely absurd, because it seriously really makes a difference. And all of that's good. If you've got subtitles, if you've added subtitles, which you probably haven't, you'd go export subtitle and you'd go burn into video, but we haven't covered any of that. We can do that in a later video. Let me know in the comments below. but everything there is sorted, and we'll just go add to render queue, so right here, and it's going to pop it right over here. Now this doesn't mean it's rendering yet. This actually means that if we had something else to quickly edit, we could edit it, do another name, blah blah blah, and then we could add it and then do another name like 3 and all that, and we can select all of them and render them all at once. But we're just simply going to get you started, and so you'll probably most likely just have one video you need to export. Now before I go on to that, if you've had any issues in this deliver tab, like maybe your settings weren't quite right or you were struggling to follow along, just let me know. I've got a free community where you can chat with me and I can help you get all these things set up and sorted out. So if you were having problems, I am here to help, so just let me know, comments below, flick me an email or whatever, and I'll help you out and try to get you up and running as fast as possible. Completely free, by the way. I'm just here to help. So once you've got your video in the render queue, make sure that it's selected, otherwise it's not going to do anything. So you'll just select it, or you could, drag and do something fancy like that. And you've got it selected, and then you'll come over here to render all. It says render all because you could probably have multiple ones, but we've just got one, and you'll hit render all. It's going to export your video. Now we want to get the file, and so instead of having to open up File Explorer and try to navigate to where we saved it and remember, we can actually right click here and go open file location, and it's just going to open it straight up where the file's selected, and we can go and double click, and there's our video. And so video's all there, done and dusted, and from there you can drag this into YouTube and upload it. You can put it in Google Drive, send it off to the people that need to see it. You can, it's there, it's exported, it's ready for you to deliver it. Yeah, super exciting. I really hope that helped. If you found value in this video, I'd appreciate it if you could subscribe, like, let me know what you thought in the comments below, because I'm here to help, so make sure to let me know if there was something I did that wasn't useful, and make sure to join the email list, which is in the link is in the description below. I'll be firing out all sorts of valuable emails to help you become a better editor, fast and efficient. And yeah, and also there's a free community in there where you can get one-on-one help with me, so make sure to check that out. But other than that, have an awesome day, and if you want to learn how to do all of your proper file structures inside of your projects to bring into DaVinci Resolve so that everything's organized, you can check out that video right there.